So take us back to day one. What was happening on the day you discovered, okay, something is wrong. What's happening? Tell us all about that.
Ooh, that was an emotional day.
Oh,
I
okay.
was actually at my mom's family reunion. We were in Washington, D.C. And my mom and I were sharing a hotel room. And for some reason, I did a breast exam, a self breast exam. There's no particular reason why I did it. I just wanted to start, you know, on a road to better health. So I said, let me do a self breast exam. And I did, and I felt a lump. And I remember turning over and looking at my mom in the other bed. And I said, Mom, I said, I think I feel a lump on my breast. And my mom's she's a huge optimistic person. She never believes anything is happening wrong. So, and she's a God-fearing woman. So her first response was, oh, that's probably nothing. You're probably okay. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, so then later on that day after we got dressed and went downstairs to join the others, I told my sisters. And they too were like, well, we're going to pray that it's nothing serious. You know, you get it checked out when you get back home, da, da, da. So when we got back home, of course, I put it off, which is a no, 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 no. Don't put it off. As the minute you feel anything that's peculiar in your body, go get it checked out, because I'm going to tell you why my sister is experiencing the same thing. So let me tell you why I say that. I'll tell you that later. Okay. So I put it off. It was probably July when we were in Washington. I put it off till probably about November. And I went to my gynecologist, and she examined me and decided that I should go see an oncologist. And so I said, oh boy, you know, that's when I got scared. And so I went and they examined me, and they told me, and they did a biopsy, and they told me to come back for the results. So me just being like my mom, you know, overly confident that nothing's wrong. I met my sisters at the doctor's office because they said they would come for support, you know, but they're sure there's nothing wrong, but they wanted to be there for support, which I'm so happy they did. And they didn't just brush it off like, oh, you'll be okay. The doctor, nurse practitioner came back in, and she looked at me and she said, you have cancer. And I was like, what? You know, immediately, because my sisters and I were laughing, talking. We weren't thinking that she was going to come back with that diagnosis. So we just, you know, it was a shock. The room fell completely silent. Everybody just looked at each other. And then my two sisters just burst out crying. My other sister, she was like a pillar of strength. She just held me and she said, so, okay, you're gonna be all right. You know, so I asked the doctor, I said, what do I have to do, doc? I didn't cry. I just was in shock. But I looked at her and I said, what do I have to do? Because I mean, you got to let me know. She said, well, it's stage 2. Okay. So, you know, there are some things we can do. Okay. And I was like, praise God, you know, because everybody hears cancer and it's a death sentence, right?
Right, right.
And when she said stage 2, it kind of gave me a little bit of hope because I knew I wasn't at the final stage, you know. And so she said, but it's triple negative. Ooh. And so when she said that, my sisters and I, being ignorant to what triple negative meant, sounded like triple negative. So that means it ain't that bad. So we were like, oh, okay. So it's not that bad. She was like, no, I'm sorry. That means it's an aggressive cancer.
Oh, well, and triple means something that's double.
Triple negative, yeah. And that's what we said. We're like, oh God. So then she said, no, it's a very aggressive cancer. So we have to treat it aggressively. So I had to have an operation to remove the lump. I didn't have a mastectomy. I had a lumpectomy. And then I had to have chemo for 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
2 times a month, I believe it was. And then I had to have radiation for 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I went through a very rigid treatment.
Mm-hmm. So for the 3 months, was it like sessions or you just count it based on months? Okay.
Sessions, yes. I had to go there and have intravenous treatments. And I had to have a port. They had to put a port inside, and because when you go there, they have to test your blood levels and everything to make sure that you're able to take the chemo.
Oh, okay.
So it was very taxing. It was hard on my body. Chemo is extremely hard on the body. It takes away every good and bad blood cell in your body. I mean, white and red blood cell in your body. And I mean, like there are, the good, and you know how you have good cells that keep everything functioning, those were all destroyed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so every cell in my body was destroyed. I had no energy. I was very lethargic for maybe like 2 days after the treatment. Like that day of the treatment, you're fine. The day after the treatment, you may be fine, but like 2 days after that, you're out of it. And you don't even hardly know where you are.